Hello, I'm Christopher M. Michaud from the Canadianist and leader of the United Canadian Centrists. Thanks for joining us on today's podcast. I want to talk about something that's been circulating online, a headline comparing Canada to Alabama, and more importantly, the reaction to it. Let's begin with something honest. Canada does have productivity challenges. We do have affordability pressures. Growth has been uneven. Anyone pretending everything's perfect isn't being serious. But the real issue here isn't whether Canada has economic challenges. It's how we're choosing to process them. There are many voices in the current online political conversation who regularly argue that mainstream media isn't honest, that it pushes narratives, that it frames stories to serve an agenda. A lot of Canadians share that skepticism. Trust in institutions has declined. That's not controversial. But here's where the inconsistency appears. The same media ecosystem that's supposedly unreliable suddenly becomes completely credible when it publishes a headline comparing Canada to Alabama. So which is it? If the media can't be trusted when it challenges your position, it can't suddenly become authoritative when it reinforces it. Skepticism has to be applied evenly. Otherwise, it isn't skepticism at all. It's selective trust. And selective trust isn't analysis. Now let's slow this down. Comparing a sovereign country of 40 million people with its own currency, national defense, healthcare structure, fiscal policy, and global trade relationships to a single U.S. state inside a federal system makes for a powerful headline. It doesn't necessarily make for a meaningful policy conversation. Alabama doesn't run foreign policy. It doesn't negotiate trade deals. It doesn't manage a sovereign currency. It operates within a federal structure that redistributes funds across states. Canada operates independently. So when someone says we're poorer than Alabama, what exactly are we measuring? GDP per capita, median income, purchasing power, after-tax income, public services, cost of living. These distinctions matter. Context matters, and that's what the outrage cycle strips away. A headline appears. It confirms an existing frustration. It spreads rapidly. It becomes symbolic. But symbolism doesn't fix structural problems. Canada's productivity slowdown is real. Investment levels have lagged. Regulatory timelines can be slow. Housing supply has struggled to keep up with demand. These are serious issues. They deserve a serious conversation about tax competitiveness, capital formation, housing approvals, interprovincial trade barriers, energy policy, and long-term economic positioning. But once the debate becomes a headline war, the substance disappears. Outrage feels satisfying. It creates engagement. It spreads faster than nuance. It just doesn't solve anything. If we're going to argue that media institutions manipulate narratives, then we have to apply that scrutiny consistently. We can't dismiss the media when it contradicts us, and then amplify it when it validates our frustration. That inconsistency weakens the broader argument. This isn't about defending the government. It isn't about attacking it either. It's about raising the level of discourse. Canada won't improve its productivity by doom posting. We won't attract investment through panic. We won't strengthen confidence by cycling between denial and collapse narratives. We improve by being specific. We improve by identifying measurable structural weaknesses and addressing them methodically. That's harder, it's slower, it's less emotionally gratifying, but it works. And this is precisely why the United Canadian Centrists exist. We're not interested in ideological theater. We're not interested in declaring everything broken beyond repair. And we're not interested in pretending incremental problems don't add up. We're interested in balance. Canada needs regulatory reform that improves efficiency without undermining standards. We need competitive taxation that attracts capital without hollowing out public services. We need housing supply acceleration grounded in practical execution. We need energy policy that understands both markets and environmental realities. We need trade diversification that's pragmatic, not performative. Most Canadians aren't ideological extremists. They're politically homeless. They're tired of being told everything's collapsing by one side and everything's flawless by the other. The truth is more complicated. We have strengths, we have vulnerabilities, we have opportunity, but we won't capitalize on any of it if we let emotionally charged comparisons dictate our national mood. If we're going to question institutions, let's question them consistently. If we're going to debate policy, let's do it on data and structural analysis. And if we're going to rebuild growth, let's do it deliberately. Countries don't decline because of a single headline. They decline because structural weaknesses go unaddressed for too long. And they recover when leadership becomes steady, disciplined, and pragmatic. I'm Christopher M. Michaud. Remember to check out the Canadianist.news if this resonates with you for all the top stories from across Canada, and like and subscribe to the show. It helps us continue producing engaging content. And if you're interested in knowing more about the United Canadian Centrists, visit uccparty.ca. There you can download our free ebook titled The Case for Canadianism that spells out who we are and our vision. Thanks again for listening. This is the Canadianist.